RWBY Volume 8, Episode 4, Fault. So, got quite a few notes for this episode. It was definitely an interesting one, especially to watch while high. First off, I really enjoyed this one. There's one very particular moment, I'm pretty sure I wrote in giant letters somewhere. Yep, I wrote in big letters on that. I'll show you guys that later. One very particular moment that was the best part of the whole episode, but we're just going to go down the line. And my very first note, I try not to bring this up every episode. I really do. I really try not to. But there's a conversation that happens early on in this episode between two characters, Robin and Crow. And so they're talking. They're going through things. It's not your fault, but it is. Yeah, it kind of is. But man, if Clover didn't do this, the dead guy, the guy you got killed. That's all I'm going to say. I'm tired of talking about it. Because every time it's like, how much of an a-hole can you truly be? To be like, you know, it's all his fault. Like, I kind of blame myself, but mostly the dude that got killed. You know, like, it's you. It was just, if he listened to me, even though I was more concerned about not going to jail, as if it gets me every time they open their mouths to blame him. To blame anybody. To blame Ironwood, or to blame the dude that died. It astounds me. Where it's just like, you were being arrested by one of your oldest friends. If there's anyone you could ever talk to, despite the insane situation, if anything, including or because of the exact situation they were in, he should have been like, you know what? Being arrested would suck. But of all the people I can have a conversation with, or at least for once give a chance and try to do something other than hide secrets, you know, it's probably my buddy Ironwood. We've known each other for a long time. He's known me through my drinking phase. You know, he gets me. We understand each other. But nope. Ironwood's the villain. Clover's an idiot who got himself killed, even though I was kind of there and I teamed up with the bad guy. But if only he listened to me. So it's the dead guy's fault. It's everyone's fault but theirs. And I swear, I'm trying not to do that every review. But they act like some a-holes. I swear to God. So anyway, next up, the Aesops. That was weird. They don't want the truth because they had a chance. Like, Robin even says, it was like, if you don't believe that, you know, he didn't actually kill him and that it was weird. I mean, I don't know what they expect if she learns the entire truth, even though also Robin was knocked unconscious, so I don't know how much she really knows. But it's just interesting. I'm like, even if they find the truth, it's like, well, you teamed up with the bad guy. So I don't think it's going to matter specifically for Harriet. Like, she's already pissed with everybody, so I doubt she's going to give a crap once she finds out the whole truth. It's still going to be like, no, you should have still just come in and been arrested, because that's what he should have done. But he teamed up with the villain because he didn't want to get arrested. I don't know. It's weird. People are doing some weird stuff sometimes. But the Aesops don't want the truth. She could have opened that up, and when she was about to, Meryl stopped her, and I'm like, why stop? It's not like, I mean, no offense to Robin, but she could not stop them. If physically speaking, if she tried to escape, a woman with super speed could easily take her down. Plus, you have a guy who can freeze her. Like, within space and time, you have a woman who could run super fast, which basically means everyone else is stopped in space and time. And then a guy who can actually freeze anyone in space and time. A group of people, even. So, it was weird that he would even stop her, because it's like, what's wrong? Like, I mean, I don't think she was actually going to, like, beat her up or whatever. Like, all she had to do was just open it up, take her hand, boom, you got it. That's the whole truth. And it's weird. It was weird because I don't think she, like, even though she mentioned, like, if I open it up, I'm not going to beat you up. But then Robin said, like, you can just open it. There's not much that can possibly, like, whatever it was that she said something. And Harriet seemed a little bit calmer where she was like, as if she thought about it logically and was going to get the answer. And then Meryl was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, how is that the wrong thing to do? So it was super, everybody was doing some weird stuff in this. I don't know what the Aesops really want right now. Because I'm like, do they want the facts? Because she's literally a living, breathing fact machine. It's just like, you touch her and then you got the truth. So that was really weird to me. I was like, that's just an odd thing for them to do, like a weird little going rogue moment. So who the F knows? But I was like, that was weird. Random thing that I put, the shield tech that Jean used, for some reason it was purple, like when it like bounced off his shield. I thought it was blue last time. I thought it was like all the shield stuff was blue, so it interested me. I was like, where'd the purple come from? Random note. That may have been in the last volume, but I don't believe it was. And then, of course, a cool chase. We had a cool car chase. The song, I put song, was fire. I put a really bad fire drawing, but the song was nice. I really enjoyed it. And it was a great chase sequence. I actually thought it was a really cool moment where we got to see them go through this valley. It was basically a trench run, Star Wars terms. Not that that's only in Star Wars, but that's when I say trench run, it's because of Star Wars. So they do a trench run, and they're following this dragon, and they of course fail by the end, which I'm happy with personally, because I'm like, I wanted them to lose. Like, I want them to have problems throughout this season. I want some bad stuff to happen. I don't really want people to die, but you know, you can kill somebody. You can at least lose a couple battles here and there. Like, something needs to go wrong so we can have some theories and like, oh, what if and maybes, because most of the time it's just like, they'll be fine. It's cool. You know, these side characters, who the F knows, they're probably going to die, but we also don't care about them as much as well. So it's, you know, it's like, let's see some losses. Let's see the characters have to change a little bit and do something new. But the chase was sweet. I love the centipede. The centipede grim, I think, actually looked really cool. And I love that weird spiral thing they do where if two of them join together, it seems like they're almost floating in the sky a little bit. So I like that. I thought the visual was good, and they end up splitting up. Ren ends up just being slapped around. Like, he didn't, you know, he held on. He made a great effort, and he got the leg. And then it was just like, okay, well, I'm just going to slam you into this and slam you into that. And he's holding on for dear life. And then Yang, you know, we had our blonde crew. So Yang and Jean, they're doing what they could to fight and survive and, you know, make ramps and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, it was fun. It was definitely entertaining to watch. And then Yang just wasn't paying attention to the road, and so of course they fell. And I thought they were just going to actually fall off, and then Ren would just be on the dragon, and I thought that was really going to be interesting, because I'm like, oh, Jean, he tried to, you know, stabbed his sword into the ground, but he lost grip, and they were actually falling. I was like, oh, this would be interesting, because I thought he was too far away. I didn't think he'd actually be able to even do it. Honestly, I thought he was like too high up to actually pull off that move, but he's able to let go in time and grab them. And then, you know, he hit himself too. That was actually a cool moment. Or like, just as the dragon was flying past, he like hit himself and they're swaying. So I was like, okay, I love the scene. The whole chase was really good. I had to listen to the song again, but it seemed like it was really fun. Kind of chase song. Well, I'll have to see if I like the song by itself, because I was like, oh, it's a really amped up moment, and sometimes that can, you know, inflate both things. Like, the visuals are enhanced by the song, and the song is enhanced by the visuals. So I have to see it on its own and listen to it again to see if I really like the song. But it sounded cool just for that first listen. It might only be one of those every once in a while songs for me, but I'll go back and I'll have to check it out. But love the chase sequence, our little trench run. Ultimately, they failed, which I mentioned 2 episodes ago. I kind of hope they fail, because I want to see what happens when they're forced to deal with loss. So I'm excited that we get to do that. We also got to see Ozpin kind of in there a little bit. Like, it was like, hey, you know, hold on, don't worry, we're going to be fine. And I thought he was actually going to help Oscar, and I thought he was going to tell him to say, you know, certain things, but it seemed like Oscar was kind of doing his own thing. And I don't know, and obviously, you know, Salem was able to figure it out. So I don't think Ozpin was telling him to say that stuff, but she noticed, like, oh, you're trying to do it, but you aren't really there just yet. You can't really fake him without him actually being there. So I don't know. I was trying to figure out, I was like, so did he tell him to say that, or was that just him? And based on the way they kind of did the scene, I just inferred that Ozpin basically was just like, hey, stay calm, and then he kind of disappeared after that, because I thought for sure during that whole sequence, I was like, I'm really shocked that they only did it in the opening of him like waking up. I thought for sure it was going to cut from Salem saying stuff to Ozpin saying stuff like, all right, say this, or, you know, stay calm and do this. I thought we'd get more out of Ozpin in that specific moment, and we just got the opening thing like, hey, stay calm, dude, peace. And then that was it. And so we got like the crazy rainbow electricity moment. I was like, okay, visually that's not what you expect. It looks, you know, it looks so nice and sweet, except for his insanely painful screams. And I was like, wow, that was dark, and I liked it. I enjoyed how visceral that sounded when he screamed. That sounds weird to say, but I was like, it makes the show feel more serious, where I'm like, okay, he's in like deadly pain, and this woman is not playing around. She's looking hot, she's zapping people, she doesn't care. So it was a good scene. I like that. And then of course, finally, Cinder did her thing. We knew it was gonna happen. They got like 1,800 storylines going on right now. It was like, we got Ironwood heroes, we got our regular main character heroes, and now those characters are split off, so that's 3 storylines. We got the villains, that's 4 storylines. Now Cinder is going off from the villains to do her own villain thing, so that's 5 storylines. Then we have the prison storyline going, so that's 6. We got like 6 storylines going off. The Aesops might end up breaking off and doing a whole thing. Harriet herself is like a 7th storyline, even though everything merges together at some point. As of now, everything's just like 6 different storylines, which is okay, because as of now, it seems like they're keeping the pace going. That's the one thing I was worried about, and it seems like this cutting back and forth thing. We did like 1 full episode Yang, 1 full episode Team RWBY, and now this was our split episode, because we do get to see Weiss go back home, so we get to see Whitley. I wrote that somewhere. Whitley's a twat. There it is. So, like we get to see all the different teams, and it's cool. It's definitely cool. Like the pacing actually seems good. So I'm enjoying it as of now, and we'll kind of see if the pace just keeps going. But Cinder goes off. She does her own thing, and I was happy about it because I was like, all right. I was waiting for that because we pretty much all knew it was going to happen. That was kind of like in the opening. It's like it's Cinder and Neo and Emerald. Like it makes perfect sense. So I'm excited to see how that ends up playing out, what that trio is going to end up doing. Obviously, Cinder is pissed with Salem. Salem is pissed with Cinder. She's about to get the dog sicked on her and everything. So it's just like, okay. I'm excited to see what happens. I don't know. I think they're going to beat Salem by the end of this volume. And then Cinder's going to come back as, like, the main villain. Also, Hazel was in this. He was super pissed. I don't know who the F his sister was, by the way. He said that, and I was like, I don't know. I don't remember you, man. He's nothing to me. So he said sister. And I'm like, who? Who are we talking about? I don't know. I have to look it up. But I didn't remember. When he said that, I was just like, anyway, he's in it. He's mad. He punched the F out of him, too. He just body blow, and he took that kid out. That was funny. But a whole episode, it was entertaining. It was good, and, we got our ending and all that good stuff. So now I want to talk about my favorite moment. Favorite moment. If I had a pillow, Ren would be right here. Like, Ren is the man of the hour right now. Because Ren... he said it all. He said what I've been feeling for so long. I think what a lot of us have been feeling with them being like stupid in the last volume and then stupid in this volume, still blaming everybody else. And so we had the 360 drama moment. It was very dramatic, and it's like, it's cold and we got to get here. And so, they're having the conversation, they did the full, bad boys thing where it's like, it's 360 drama. So I was like, I like this. They're having a very dramatic moment. And I put 3 exclamation points. Ren sees it clearly, and I put we're nothing, and I just squiggles, we're nothing. It's just like, Ruby's an effing kid. None of us are real huntsmen and huntresses. Like, we've survived these insane situations, but we still don't really understand what we're doing. They brought up season 1 type stuff, like, you snuck in the beacon. Amazing. I mean, I don't know if it'll really do that much. It was just like a cool moment that he even referenced it. Because I don't think we knew that anyone knew outside of Nora. Or it's not Nora, Apira. So I don't remember. I'm sure he said it. I mean, it's been 8 years. So I'm sure he mentioned it to the team, or it was probably just kind of in between things where it was like, eventually he told, his actual team. But I don't remember them having an actual moment of that where he says, like, yeah, this is what happened. I could be forgetting that because, once again, 8 volumes, 8 years. I forget a bunch of random stuff. But that was great. Ren was just like, dude, we're a bunch of idiots. Like, we survive. We don't actually, like, succeed. Like, we just keep making it through. Ruby's a freaking kid. Obviously, that didn't work. I mean, even you agree. That's why the team split up. But Yang kind of had to be, like, the opposite opinion where Ren was 100% everything is wrong. And she couldn't meet him halfway. She had to be, like, everything's, we did it. So it must be right. But I was happy. I was like, yeah, Ren gets it. Ren freaking gets it. So I was happy with that. I was super happy with that. But it was a good moment. And then, of course, they have their moment at the end where Jean tries to kind of talk to him and stuff, and Ren actually leaves. And I was like, okay. It doesn't just... It was a good moment. It was kind of like that speech moment where it's like, they had time to calm down and stuff. But that's not what happened. He was still pissed, and he didn't say anything, and he just left, and he walked out the door, and he sat in the snow. And then, of course, we have, like, the weird, the Kraken is going to be popping out soon. But they're fine. They found a shack. They got heat. They found a part for the motorcycle, so they'll be able to fix that, and they'll be able to take off because they just found everything they needed. And they did mention, they did, like, there is an outpost somewhere close by, so they found what they needed. That's where they were headed anyway. But it was like, oh, they did that. They don't have to wait for rescue. So maybe that'll be better for the story. They can actually just, from this, they just go right to the next thing, or they get stopped because they're going to have to deal with the monster. Maybe that'll bring other people to them. So we'll just have to wait and kind of see how that ends up playing out. But Ren was MVP this episode. He was number 1 for sure. Let's see what else. Yeah, Yang doesn't want to lose Blake. I thought that was cool. Where she was like, do you think she'll forgive me? And Jean instantly assumed, like, Ruby's your sister. And she's like, oh yeah, Ruby. And I was like, oh, that's sweet. She doesn't want to lose a girlfriend or whatever they are. Because I mean, obviously, I don't know. I thought Nora and Ren were together, and I can't. You can't guess. Because then 3 seasons later, it'd be like, this is our first kiss. I'm like, how? So I don't guess. Whatever they are, she doesn't want to lose Blake. So, all in all, a good episode. Really enjoyed it. Very excited for what Neo's gonna do. I don't know. I wrote here, Neo don't give a fuck. Neo's just in it. She's just in it right now. Everybody's just as stupid a-hole to her, I'm sure. So I'm kind of excited for that one. I love the little floating thing. We got to see her with the umbrella, or her parasol, technically. So that was great. And she did like the little tiptoe thing when she like got on the wing of the ship. And I was like, just that little bit. I was like, that's the life. That's like that little bit of just creativity I wanted to see. Just a little spark of just a little bit of pleasure. Just seeing her float. I was like, some personality. That was great. So I'm excited. We're moving forward. Things seem to actually be kicking up. So we'll see what happens in this next one. But I think they did a good job. Who knows if the whole water breaking thing will actually come into effect in the very next episode. I would love to see that. If not, I think the next episode will probably still have something. The only thing I'm worried about now is like Team RWBY getting to Weiss's house. I'm like, that's going to be the downtime. Like that, them and the prison stuff is going to be downtime, and it's just going to be them trying to figure out like, what do we do next? So I'm hoping that we don't get too much of those two storylines and we stick with, holy crap, Asuka's been captured, and then we have Team Yang who's like, do we go back to tell everybody else, or do we just go forward and try to get to, the giant well in the sky? Maybe they'll come across, Cinder and her team as a result of that. Who knows? So, and obviously Cinder is going specifically after Penny, and she's already in Atlas, so that'll probably end up leading to the Team RWBY thing where Cinder will end up going for Penny, and then they'll just end up running into Team RWBY again. So I'm hoping that's how it plays out. And then once again, I'm hoping that happens very fast. So we'll see what happens. But I definitely enjoyed this episode. Ren, MVP. Just, I knew I liked that boy. I knew I liked him. But we'd love to know your thoughts on this episode, so please put your comments down in the comment section below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it. I would love to know your predictions for what's going to end up happening with Oscar. I don't think they're gonna kill off Oscar. I think he'll probably be captured for a minute, and then I think this will lead to him. And I mentioned, I think it was in the first episode, like he was already hiding the fact that Ozpin kind of came back. So even Salem doesn't officially know if Ozpin is kind of in hiding and stuff like that, because he even says like, I don't know that secret. And she knows that Ozpin can eventually, he's probably paying attention to everything. So even if he's not officially coming out, she's like, I know he can see me. I know he's in there. I want my effing answers. So I'm not sure how that's really going to play out, but I don't think he'll die. I don't, because it's just too early. Like, they kill him off and then they would have to send him off to another body type thing, So I feel like we'd be in like some weird Avatar type stuff. Like, let's kill him off and then find out the baby. Like, I don't think they're going to go that route. So I think he'll get captured eventually, but I think Oscar is going to kind of go through the ringer a little bit. And I'm okay with that. As sucky as it is, because honestly, Oscar's one of the people that I don't want to see tortured the most, because I'm like, the kid's just doing what he has to do. He's just trying. And everyone else is just pissing me off. So Oscar, I'm like, he's the youngest. He kind of went with the team. And I was like, you guys are older. I'm just thrown into the chaos. So I get it. He's a kid. Everyone else has just been pissing me off. So I don't want to see Oscar hurt. But if that's what it takes for me to get an entertaining story, then oh well for that kid. But I'm looking forward to what we get next. Like I said, definitely want to know what you guys thought about this one and your predictions going forward for what's going to happen with him. What's going to happen, in general. What do you guys want to see in general? So please put your comments down in the comment section below. News updates about to drop. But of course, thanks for watching.